Hello, good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Roger Johnson. Thank you for your company on this Wednesday evening. Our top story. A man's been jailed after leaving a 70-year-old woman in a coma after she was hit by an e-bike at 40 miles an hour. Margaret Scaldwell was left with life-changing injuries. Also tonight,
the noise levels, the violence, the rubbish strewn around the streets.
Reform UK's new MP under fire for claiming a Runcorn street's blighted by violent illegal immigrants. Residents and the police say it's not true. Thousands of cricket fans are stumped by long security queues and missed the start of the Old Trafford Test. Bluebirds back. Donald Campbell's hydroplane returns to Ullswater 70 years to the day after a record-breaking run.
And it's certainly not been wall-to-wall sunshine today, but we've had very usable weather, haven't we? And that is set to continue through the next few days. Join me at the end of the programme for a full live forecast.
A former Wigan Athletic youth footballer has been jailed for more than 2 years after mowing down a pensioner on an e-bike in Orrell. 70-year-old Margaret Scaldwell suffered life-changing injuries in the 40 miles an hour collision, and her family are now calling on the government to strengthen the laws around e-bikes. Anna Jameson is at Bolton Crown Court for us live this evening. And Anna, this has been a long wait for the victim and her family.
It has. It's actually nearly 2 years to the day when Margaret Scaldwell, who was 68 at the time, was simply crossing Orrell Road in Orrell when she was ploughed into by two men driving an electric motorbike. The two men then fled the scene, leaving the pensioner with a broken spine, no teeth, and needing 10 steel plates in her face. Now, driving was Cian Monks from Billinge, who was a former Wigan Athletic youth player. He played for the under-18s team in the 2020-2021 season, and he was driving a Teleria Sting e-bike, which is capable of up to speeds of 55 miles per hour and is illegal if ridden even on UK roads. Now, this was actually bought by the passenger, Joel Pilling, 22 years old, off a mate for £3,200. Today, Judge John Close said the vehicle had serious defects, which combined with a deliberate excessive speed left serious consequences. You've left her housebound, he told the men. The dehumanising effect that she feels as a result. Her life is a constant list of hospital appointments. You caused that. Today, Mr Monks was sentenced to 2 years, 3 years behind bars. Mr Pilling was handed a 22-month, 2-year suspended sentence and ordered to do 250 hours of community service.
And Anna, today's sentencing is a first in the way for the crimes involving an e-bike.
It is. It's the first time, actually, that a passenger has been sentenced for using an e-bike, which could actually set a precedent for future cases. Now, speaking outside court, the family solicitor say they're disappointed with today's results.
Whilst the family are happy that Monks has been jailed today, they feel that he should have been jailed for longer, and as Pilling was equally guilty, he should also have been sent to prison. Margaret's family feel that Pilling has dodged justice. At the moment, there is no robust deterrent to these illegal e-bikers to stop them causing havoc on the roads. Hopefully, these sentences today can help police crack down on the menace of reckless e-bike riders.
Well, in a statement, the Department of Transport says dangerous cycling is completely unacceptable. It's one of their priorities. That's why it's proposing new offences and penalties for dangerous cycling, updating legislation that is now 160 years old. Roger.
Anna, thank you very much. Anna Jameson there. Well, aside from that case, a man's been arrested today after a 5-year-old was hit and injured by an e-bike at Upton near Chester. Last month, you might remember, I spoke to Carly Calland, whose son Jacob died after an e-scooter on which he was a passenger collided with a car. There's no doubt that to many people, e-bikes and e-scooters are a menace. Well, Nick Lies from the charity I Am Road Smart told me earlier that the rules around e-bikes in particular are fairly confusing.
There are two different issues here. So you've got electronically assisted pedal cycles, which are road legal, but they are not to be propelled when going above speeds of 15.5 miles an hour. Anything that is being propelled faster than that or does not have pedals would constitute an e-bike, which are not fit and not legal to be used on public roads.
And for many people, everyone will have seen these. A colleague was talking at lunchtime, having someone on an e-scooter fly past them at sort of 30 miles an hour in a pedestrianised area. You're only a hair's breadth away from similar cases to what we've just heard about. How do we change this? What needs to change?
Well, first and foremost, people need to remember that the only legal scooters to use on public roads are those that are in trial areas. So always check, and you'll be able to see that there's various different brands that you might see in city centres.
I suppose the issue is people don't care, do they? The people that are using these don't really care less what the law says, and they know they're not going to get pulled up on it.
Well, I do think that there is an element of that. And of course, you know, you shouldn't even be using legal e-scooters on the pavements. They're to be used on the roads only, and that is if they're legal to do so. But I think the most important point here is that we do need to see some good enforcement, but we do need to see the UK government really start to get a grip on the legislation here. We need to see primary legislation brought before Parliament. We need to see build standards regulated. We need to see training standards within e-scooter riding. And we also need to make sure that it is very difficult for these things to be changed or genetically modified, dare I say.
And maybe go after the companies that are selling them in the first place.
Well, we think there is a huge responsibility here on the use of third-party providers in the gig economy. They need to make sure that the people that they are using are, first and foremost, safe riders, but secondly, to make sure that whatever it is that they are riding them legally, and in effect, that should be motorcycles. So we need to have a review of the licensing system as well as everything else that I've mentioned when it comes to e-scooters and e-bikes.
Nick Lies from I Am Road Smart, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
All right, next tonight, Sarah Pochin has only been the new MP for Runcorn and Helsby for a couple of months, but she's made plenty of headlines, and tonight she's fallen foul of some of her constituents. The Reform UK MP posted a video recently bemoaning violence and antisocial behaviour from illegal immigrants on a street in Runcorn. Well, tonight, the people who live there have told us it's not true, and Cheshire Police say there's no evidence to support her claims. Lindsay Prosser has this report.
Greenway Road, a tight-knit community in a conservation area. The local Reform MP has angered residents by claiming illegal immigrants are causing trouble here.
The antisocial behaviour that people have to put up with, the noise levels, the violence, the rubbish strewn around the streets, early hours of the morning, the shouting, potential domestic abuse.
The council says there's one property on Greenway Road housing asylum seekers, but there's been no reports of antisocial behaviour from there. The people we spoke to say their MP isn't describing their neighbourhood.
My dad and my brothers and sisters live at the bottom of the road here on Greenway Road. There is no trouble around here. There's no issue with crime. I've stayed in this area because I like the area. It's a lovely community space.
Grown up in Runcorn, on various estates in Runcorn, and I've always felt very lucky to live on Greenway Road.
When you hear somebody saying things like, "Oh, people are scared to go out. There's violence, the litter," the kind of antisocial behaviour, and I was just like, "There's absolutely none of that I've seen living on this road."
The police visited homes on Greenway Road after Sarah Pochin's video appeared online. Residents told them there are no problems with illegal immigrants. In a statement, the force said, "The issues referenced in the video do not correlate with the incidents that have been reported to Cheshire Police or to the concerns that have been raised to officers by residents in the area."
Sarah Pochin's office say they're currently gathering witness statements from residents and businesses that have spoken to the MP and are looking at public statements that have been made about her comments. They say her legal team believe there is a basis for legal action.
Church Warden Rob Littler wrote an open letter to Sarah Pochin after seeing her video.
All I wanted was to have a debate with her, to say, come on, tell us why you're using this area politically, when this isn't about politics, it's about truth.
Residents say if Sarah Pochin does return to Greenway Road, they'll show her that it's not a problem area. Lindsay Prosser, BBC North West Tonight, Runcorn.
Now, a second man's been arrested on suspicion of murdering an elderly couple who died after a fire at their home in St Helens. 77-year-old Peter Greener, known as Eric, and his partner Sheila Jackson, who was 83, died after last week's blaze. Police say an accelerant was used to start the fire. A 46-year-old man from Fazakerley is being questioned by police. Another man has been released on bail. The Mayor of Greater Manchester has ordered a report into Monday's bus crash in Eccles, which injured 20 people. 3 people are still in hospital with serious injuries after the double-decker struck an aqueduct on Barton Lane. Measures are to be installed to prevent further incidents. Blackpool's oldest pier has gone up for sale. The Grade 2 listed North Pier, which opened in 1863, is currently owned by the Sedgwick family, who also own the town's other 2 piers. Estate agents haven't put a price tag on the pier, but say they'll listen to sensible offers. Now, the issue of hospice funding is something we've talked about many times on the programme. Adult facilities have to raise around a third of their running costs, that can be millions of pounds, through donations and fundraising, and many of them are struggling. Well, tonight there's an admission from the government that the system needs to change. You might remember we spent a year following the work of Wigan and Leigh Hospice, and on a recent visit there, the Health Minister, Stephen Kinnock, spoke exclusively to our political editor, Annabel Tiffin.
In its 40-year history, the hospice reckons it has touched the lives of almost everyone in Wigan and Leigh, including Jeff and his family. He and his wife Margaret were both receiving care here last week. They spent her final moments side by side.
It's been really, really difficult for the whole family.
I don't think we'd have been able to cope if we hadn't got anything like this. I really don't.
But as we found out during our year-long series, hospices are under financial strain. Costs are going up and they rely on charitable donations for 2/3 of their income. During his visit to Wigan and Leigh Hospice, I sat down with the Minister, Stephen Kinnock.
Is it fair, though, that people should have to jump out of planes and climb Kilimanjaro to raise money for services that actually they are doing on behalf of the NHS?
Well, we do warmly welcome the way that people step up and get involved in supporting their local hospice. But I absolutely recognise that we, the Department for Health and Social Care, we need to step up and do our bit.
They love that. The cameras absolutely love that.
So the Minister came to the hospice with money, 75 million on top of 25 million already dished out in February, split between 170 hospices nationwide for repairs and updating facilities. Wigan and Leigh will get £500,000.
The hospice has welcomed the £500,000 it is getting from this new government deal. It has spent it on fixing its leaking roof, and it'll go on a new heating system and memory garden. But it costs around £18,000 a day to keep this hospice running. So this money is good, but it's not enough.
Everyone's struggling for money, essentially, in our borough, and it is unfair for us to be asking the people of Wigan Borough to be spending more of their money when they already have less to spend in order to keep the hospice going.
So wouldn't it be fairer then if the government just gave you more money every year?
Yes, in a sustainable way for the workforce, yes, absolutely.
They need a sustainable, fairer funding deal. Are you the government, are you the minister that's going to finally offer that?
I don't want another last-minute scramble at the end of the financial year to, with a sticking plaster, solve a problem for the short term. We're looking at long-term solutions. We have a 3-year spending review settlement now. We are now negotiating how much of that should be for palliative and end-of-life care. And as soon as we have that, I want to see that long-term plan to take us at least through to the end of this Parliament.
The government and hospices agree they don't want to be fully funded by the state, but hospices say the current funding model must change so that they can keep helping people like Jeff and his family.
So thankful that she was able to spend the last few hours and she wasn't in pain.
Annabel Tiffin, BBC North West Tonight in Wigan.
And we'll continue to follow any developments on that story with, as we said, adult hospices having to raise about 2/3 of their running costs every year through fundraising. Right, here are some of the other stories that people are reading tonight from BBC News. And businesses in Fleetwood say the stink from a landfill site is costing them money. The local MP says that it's frustrating and people's health is suffering. The owners of the Hotspur Press Mill in Manchester, which was gutted by fire last month, say that they want to keep as much of it as possible. Richard Stead's written that on the Manchester pages. And on the Isle of Man pages, you can read about people in Ramsey there who are being asked for ideas to regenerate the town. A drop-in centre is open in the town hall in Ramsey for the next 3 weeks for their ideas. You can find out more at bbc.co.uk/local news, or, as always, have a look on the BBC News app. Right, next to the latest in our series, looking at the work of one of the country's largest prosthetic limb centres, the Manchester Specialised Ability Centre. And the mum of a little girl who had to have her foot removed at the age of 6 has started a campaign to help other families in a similar situation. River Lucia has a condition which leads to one leg being shorter than the other. Here's our health correspondent, Jill Dummigan.
Stand up tall. Today, 7-year-old River Lucia's in for a routine checkup. She was born with a condition called fibular hemimelia in her left leg, which meant it was much shorter than her right one.
She's missing the fibular bone in the lower part of her left leg. So she had adapted shoes and splints up until the age of 6.
In her case, the increasing difference in length could only be treated by multiple leg lengthening surgeries, which can cause serious complications, or by an amputation.
It was the most difficult decision of our lives. We could have done it earlier when she was a baby, but we held back and we wanted to see how her foot would grow. We waited until she was at an age to understand it all, shown her pictures, introduced other children, and when we showed River Lucia the 2 options, she was amputation straight away.
So last July, River Lucia had her left foot removed.
It was such a shock to, you can prepare yourself all you like, but until you're actually there, it was all questions going on in my head. I couldn't sleep. Am I making the right decision? Are we going to regret this?
This centre treats around 150 children who will stay under its care for the rest of their lives.
We see patients at prenatal, we see expectant mothers, and then right after the child's born, they will be seen by us, and we will support that family through the emotional side, through the physical side, through the development stages, all the way through.
I think there's often more anxiety around children. Not knowing the future is kind of scary for most parents, but if you don't know anyone else that has a limb absence like your child, then it's hard to know what the future might look like.
But River Lucia surprised everyone.
She just got up. She was walking 17 hours on a Zimmer frame. After surgery, she wanted out of the bed straight away, and I was like, wow, how are you even doing this?
Leah posted videos of her daughter's progress on Instagram to motivate her and help other families in a similar situation.
She just came out of a shell, and it was like, this is who she's meant to be. She's got so much more confidence. She's not at my side anymore. She's not needing me there for support. She must feel so confident in this leg.
What are your favourite things to do then? What do you like doing best?
Swimming, climbing, riding my bike, and running.
We do have struggles at home, getting from A to B, and sometimes we do need the wheelchair. But, 8 out of 10, she's doing what other kids can do. It feels good because we know we've made the right decision. She's just given it her all. Everything she's doing is just giving it her all.
Jill Dunnigan, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester.
It was fantastic, isn't it? We have a special guest watching in our production gallery this evening. Good evening, River Lucia. Fantastic to see her report. And tomorrow, in the latest in Jill's series, the 4th of her 5 reports, she'll be looking at some of the technological advances which have gone to help people with prosthetic limbs. Right, on to sport. Lancashire County Cricket Club's apologised today after long queues for security checks meant that some fans missed the start of play at the 4th test between England and India. It was a big day as well for 2 of Lancashire's greats, Sir Clive Lloyd and Farouk Engineer. Andy Gill sent this from Emirates Old Trafford.
Big crowds for a big match, with big expectations among both sets of fans.
A good England win, obviously.
Do you think they'll do it?
Yes, I do.
Where we came, India hasn't won, so this time we want to change that. So
Won the toss and we're bowling. Excellent. So, good start. So we could have a win.
India have lost the toss again, so England are bowling. What do you think of that?
So we'll compensate it with winning the match.
Tell me what you're looking forward to most in this match.
Well, firstly, getting in. The queues are quite bad.
And for some, that was the problem this morning. Big queues. Thousands still outside a good half hour after play began.
I've been coming to watch the Test match at Old Trafford, first day, for 20 years. It's never been as like, the organisation has never been as bad as it is today.
Security is far more important than getting in and letting people in with bags that might have something in, so I'm quite happy to make sure that that's in place and queue up to get in.
Lancashire apologised and said, "We saw nearly 9,000 supporters arrive at the ground very late, despite encouraging early arrival, with all bags subject to searches on entry." It said the club will be looking at increasing the number of gates for the rest of the Test match.
We'll need to chase that to concentrate on these.
Today, a stand at Old Trafford was named after two Lancashire greats, Sir Clive Lloyd and Farouk Engineer. For a big day, you need the right attire.
I've got this one that's travelled the world with me. Like this has been the World Cup in India, it's been the 1 days in India, and as you can see, it's sort of, after several thousand miles, it's got a bit grotty, so I thought I'd get myself a couple of new ones.
Even if that's dressing French at an England-India test. Is the garlic not putting you off?
Not yet. It hasn't gone off yet, but maybe with the good weather, which we're expecting, hopefully.
Right.
So, yeah, looking forward to it.
In the match, India started well before England struck back, one captain taking the wicket of another, which would be a blow to some.
I just came here to enjoy the atmosphere. I don't know much about cricket, but I'm loving this.
Andy Gill, BBC North West Tonight, Old Trafford.
Fingers crossed for the weather. Abby with the forecast shortly. Now, these pictures are 70 years old. They show Donald Campbell's iconic hydroplane, Bluebird K7, flashing across Ullswater in the Lake District, where on the 23rd of July 1955, she broke the 200 miles an hour water speed barrier for the first time. So today, Bluebird left her home at the Ruskin Museum in Coniston to return to Ullswater to mark the anniversary. And Alison Freeman was there.
They gathered to see the star of the show.
Good morning, everybody. A huge welcome to celebrate here today the 70th anniversary of the water speed record.
Bluebird, back at the place where Donald Campbell achieved his first water speed record. Not many know that when he broke the 200 mile per hour barrier, it was on Ullswater.
He only had to move to Coniston because of the speed increase, because with Ullswater, beautiful lake, but you've got a dog leg in it, didn't have the length of run in and run out that he needed. Otherwise, I'm quite sure he would have stayed here at Ullswater. So I do think it's important that Ullswater is recognised for being the first place she broke her record.
Among the crowds were some who were here on the 23rd of July 1955.
I was rowing up from Pooley Bridge towards Skelly Neb to see if he was there, and all of a sudden he shot past the end of the headland and went across to the near Sharrow Bay Hotel, where he turned round, refuelled and shot back again, and that was the record-breaking day. So that was quite good.
Quite good?
Well, it was very good.
Others had travelled from Australia for this momentous occasion.
It's a childhood dream. I had the toys as a child, you know, I was probably 6 or 7 years old. Also meeting his daughter.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that's pretty special. Even though Bluebird wasn't on the water today, there was a special sailing on one of Ullswater's steamers for Gina Campbell to get a better understanding of what her father did here. So these two orange buoys that have been placed on the lake mark out the mile over which Donald Campbell achieved that very first record.
We were just discussing what would he have used as his sight line, because 200 miles an hour is coming up very fast. So yes, it's an amazing experience to be on the same water.
And Bluebird's visit had wider-reaching benefits.
It's great for the local economy. It's great to see so many people, and new people as well, that haven't actually come here before. And I think we've been quite surprised too by the enthusiasm, but also the lack of connection people seem to have with Ullswater and Campbell. So now I think hopefully they can see that actually it is the Lake District.
Alison Freeman, BBC North West Tonight, Ullswater.
Looks amazing, doesn't she? A thing of science fiction back in the day. Right, let's have a look at the weather, shall we? Abby is here tonight. We're hoping for decent weather for the cricket, I guess.
Absolutely, and it is looking drier. I think, actually, we're going to see a little bit more sunshine because although we have had a couple of cloud breaks today with some glimmers of brightness, it has been largely cloudy, hasn't it? Thank you, as always, to our weather watchers for sending these photos in. And if you do take a weather photo over the next few days and you would like to send it in to us here at North West Tonight, all the details on the screen behind me, you can send them directly into me through social media, or you can become one of our BBC weather watchers. Now, it does look to be an improving picture over the next few days. Mostly dry tomorrow, some sunshine, more sunshine tomorrow than what we've had today. It's this area of high pressure that, although will never fully make its way over us, will impact our weather a little over the next few days. Still the risk of a couple of light showers or patches of drizzle, but a good deal of dry weather. Overnight tonight, quite a lot of cloud initially, but the cloud will gradually thin and break and pull away. And I think in the early hours of tomorrow morning, we'll see lengthy clear skies. That will allow for a little bit of mist and fog to form, though. But our temperatures no lower than about 14 or 15 degrees in one or two places. So quite a mild start to the day tomorrow. Any early cloud will quickly clear away. And we should see increasing amounts of sunshine actually tomorrow, particularly across western parts. West is best tomorrow, more cloud in the east. And I think where we do have some thicker cloud, we could have a couple of spots of drizzle. But temperatures generally a couple of degrees higher than today, 21 or 22 degrees Celsius, so some decent spells of sunshine where it will feel a little bit more pleasant. And given that it is the end of July, whenever we see the sun, it does impact our temperatures. They'll rise a little over the coming days and then fall back slightly into the start of next week. So they are around average for the time of year over the next couple of days. This is how Friday's looking. Again, largely dry, but certainly not wall-to-wall sunshine. There will be a little bit more cloud around at times with our temperatures ranging from between 20 to 23 degrees Celsius. A good deal of dry weather, a good deal of usable weather, I think, this weekend. Saturday probably looking like the brighter day of the two. At the moment, some decent spells of sunshine in the morning before we see things clouding over a little more Saturday afternoon. And then Sunday, I think the cloud will be a little bit thicker on Sunday, so we might start to introduce a couple of showers, some spots of light rain or drizzle perhaps Sunday afternoon. Into the start of next week, things do look to turn a little bit more changeable, perhaps a bit cooler as well around the middle part of the week, and we will start to see showers or longer spells of rain, turning a touch breezier too, Rog.
Abby, thank you. Lots of people getting in touch about e-bikes, which we were talking about at the start of the programme. Martin says they're a menace at traffic lights, whooshing through when they should stop.
And Lillian as well has been in touch, who said, I have had a couple of near misses when on an e-bike, went through a pedestrian crossing, only my dog stopped and saved me.
Thank you for your thoughts, as always, and whatever you're doing, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Good night.